Welcome back to our channel. I'm your host, and this is the Crime Files, where we bring you captivating crime stories of all time. Today, we delve into the mind of a serial killer who considered killing 49 women a career path.
Just loved killing women. When I started killing, I just kept on killing them.
What were his motives? How did he pay back for his sins? Let's find out. Gary Leon Ridgway is better known as the Green River Killer. Born on February 18, 1949, he etched his name into infamy with his heinous acts. Ridgway was convicted of 48 murders, and as part of a plea bargain, another conviction was added, bringing his total confirmed murders to 49, second to only one other in U.S. history. His crimes still send shivers down the spines of every resident in the Pacific Northwest. Ridgway's victims were young girls and vulnerable women, including sex workers and runaway teenagers. The press aptly named him the Green River Killer after his first 5 victims were found along the riverbanks before his identity was known. His go-to killing techniques involve strangulation, sometimes using ligatures, and then callously discarding the bodies in dense forests and overgrown areas in King County. Ridgway's victims numbered at least 71, and he admitted losing count. The majority of these dreadful acts occurred between 1982 and 1984. Using cunning manipulation, he would trick his victims into trusting him, often showing them a picture of his own son. After engaging in sexual activity, he would ruthlessly strangle them to death, leaving their lifeless bodies in the shadows of the greenery. Tragically, most bodies were discovered only as skeletal remains, leaving 2 victims unidentified. Ridgway cunningly contaminated the crime scenes to mislead the authorities, even transporting victims' remains across state lines. You may wonder, how did this monster evade capture for so long? Well, Ridgway was on investigators' radar as early as 1982, when he was arrested for prostitution. However, the evidence to tie him to the murders was lacking. It wasn't until the advancement of DNA profiling that the truth finally caught up with him. On November 30th, 2001, while leaving his workplace at the Kenworth Truck Factory in Renton, Washington, he was arrested, forever ending his reign of terror. The King County Sheriff's Office formed the Green River Task Force in the early 1980s to investigate these gruesome murders. The collaboration with renowned experts such as Robert Keppel, Dave Reichert, and FBI Special Agent John E. Douglas helped build a profile of the killer. Interestingly, serial killer Ted Bundy also offered insight into the murderer's psychology and behavior. Finally, justice caught up with the Green River Killer when DNA evidence conclusively linked him to the crimes. Amidst the horror, there was an unexpected twist in Ridgway's life. In 1985, he began dating Judith Mawson, who later became his 3rd wife. Strangely, during this period, his murder sprees seemed to subside. Mawson claimed that she unknowingly moved into a house with a chilling secret, a carpet that may have been used to wrap one of his victims. Now, before we dive further into cold-hearted crimes, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update from our channel. As the investigation deepened, 2 confirmed and 2 suspected victims were found in the Portland, Oregon area, suggesting that Ridgway's heinous acts knew no boundaries. He meticulously placed bodies in clusters, sometimes posed and frequently returned to their remains to satisfy his twisted desires. And so, the haunting tale of the Green River Killer took an unexpected turn as justice sought a plea bargain. In August 2003, the news spread like wildfire that Gary Ridgway had been transferred to a different prison cell, fueling speculation about the possibility of a confession. As the reports trickled in, it became apparent that his lawyers were negotiating a deal that could spare him the death penalty. But at what cost? Then, on November 5th, 2003, Ridgway made a shocking decision. He entered a guilty plea to 48 charges of aggravated first-degree murder as part of the plea bargain. The arrangement required him to cooperate in locating the remains of his victims and provide further details about the crimes. His confession led investigators to the truth, but also plunged the victims' families into the depths of pain and sorrow. On December 18, 2003, Ridgway received 48 life sentences without the possibility of parole, served consecutively, 1 for each life he mercilessly extinguished, an additional 10 years for tampering with evidence for each victim, added a staggering 480 years to his already unfathomable sentence. And then, after discovering the remains of his 49th victim, another life sentence was bestowed upon the monster. Throughout the investigation, Ridgway led prosecutors to the chilling reminders of his crimes. In 2003, he disclosed the location of 3 bodies, finally allowing their families to find some semblance of peace. But the horrors didn't end there. On November 23, 2005, a hiker stumbled upon the skull of one of the 48 women Ridgway admitted murdering, igniting fresh waves of fear and sorrow. Before Ridgway's shocking confession, authorities had already attributed 49 murders to the Green River Killer. But as the truth spilled from his lips, the scope of his depravity expanded exponentially. Ridgway confessed to the murder of at least 71 victims, leaving investigators stunned at the sheer scale of his malice. Most of Ridgway's victims were young women and girls between the ages of 14 and 26, many of whom were trapped in the dangerous world of prostitution or had run away from home in desperate attempts to escape their troubled pasts. In his confessions, Ridgway laid bare the depths of his depravity. He admitted to more confirmed murders than any other American serial killer, confessing to 48 heinous acts. He revealed that he targeted prostitutes because they were easy prey, and his disdain for them fueled his vicious rage. Shockingly, he admitted to having sex with his victims' lifeless bodies, a despicable act that only added to the horrors of his crimes. But that's not even the crazy part. As he peeled back the layers of his twisted mind, Ridgway nonchalantly referred to these monstrous deeds as his career. The chilling confession painted a portrait of a cold-blooded killer devoid of remorse who took pleasure in extinguishing innocent lives. As justice caught up with Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, he found himself confined in a grim world behind bars. In January 2004, he was placed in solitary confinement at the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla, where the weight of his heinous crimes pressed upon him. However, it was not long before his incarceration took an unexpected turn. On May 14, 2015, Ridgway was transferred to the USP Florence High, a high-security federal prison east of Cannon City, Colorado. The move brought him farther away from the haunting memories of the Pacific Northwest, where his monstrous acts had once terrorized countless lives. Yet, the distance would not last for long. In response to the mounting demands for justice, Corrections Secretary Bernie Warner announced Ridgway's transfer back to Washington State in September 2015. The decision aimed to make him easily accessible for ongoing murder investigations as the search for truth and closure continued. Thus, on October 24, 2015, Ridgway returned to the Washington State Penitentiary near the scenes of his unspeakable atrocities in Walla Walla. As of today, he is being kept in the jail's Special Commitment Unit, a maximum security section for dangerous offenders. Ridgway spends 23 of his 24 waking hours in solitary confinement, with only 1 hour daily allowed for exercise outside his cell. This is to protect his safety at all costs. He is not allowed any contact with any other detainees, and his family and lawyers can only visit him by video feed. Because of his notoriety, Ridgway is constantly watched and subject to increased security. The jail administration has placed him on solitary confinement out of fear that he will harm or kill another inmate. Moreover, he is under round-the-clock monitoring due to the potential for self-harm. Ridgway's offenses are so severe that it's doubtful he'll ever be released from prison. And that's all for the infamous Green River Killer. What do you think about his twisted career path? Please let us know in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel if you want more details about the murder stories of this stone-hearted killer.